the hard part about this mission is that the mission is not necessarily something that either side, on a government level is supporting right now. But on a people level, I think people get it. And so the challenge is in a country where so many things at some level eventually have to be checked off by the government, how do you do something that is trying to bring people together, but do it in a way that doesn't make people upset or nervous within either country, really, for that matter?
Hi, and welcome back to either If I Knew You Better or Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom, depending on where you're listening to this special short episode. That clip I just played was from Beijing-based comedian Jesse APPELL, dropping a tiny bit of the wisdom he shared with us on one of my other shows this week. I'll explain more about that in just a moment. First, though, why this shorty? What is this about? Well, lots of people still subscribe to my original podcast, Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom, actually, but have not yet joined me on If I Knew You Better, where you also might be hearing this, or on How China Works, which I'll talk about in a second. So from time to time, I'm going to post a quick update here on past Big Fish guests who you might like to check out, or on other shows in general that I'm doing that I'm proud of and I really don't want you to miss. Now, If I Knew You Better is really an evolution of Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom. It's just a more global and not necessarily China-focused version of that show. So I want to keep people informed who are more casual listeners but haven't made that move yet. Now, as I mentioned, I also co-host a show called How China Works with my friend Ying Lee, and there are lots of Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom listeners who already followed that one. But I want to make sure that the If I Knew You Better audience was aware of it too, in case you want to learn more about the East-West dynamics from the inside. And we have had an amazing array of thinkers, influencers, academics, leaders, business people, entrepreneurs of all types who are engaged in the cross-border global business that relates to specifically the U.S. and China, but really China and the rest of the world, the Western world at large. So we're really proud of a lot of things we've had on there, and we've had some really special shows there lately that I wanted to tell you about specifically. First up is that we had a man named Mark Levine on How China Works. Mark is a pretty fascinating guy. I don't want to say too much about him. You can check him out on that show. Links are included in these show notes for everything. We had so much to talk about that we are actually planning a follow-up. We're going to do a round 2 with Mark sometime before the end of this year. During that interview, Mark introduced us to his friend and manager, Fu Han. Mark is a musician as well as an educator. Ying met with Fu Han, we all talked on the phone, and we decided to do something really special with her. Instead of a regular podcast, we took that opportunity to set up and do our first live event. And we did this because, among her other skills and interests and things on her resume, Fu Han is now a documentary filmmaker. So we set up an event at the Bookworm Cafe in Beijing, which is a awesome destination. It's an awesome location to do events. We had Fu Han at the Bookworm with special guest, her friend and musical partner, Mark Levine. And we had a surprise guest, a lady named Isabel Crook herself. She joined us. Now, I'm going to put a lot of things out here and kind of tie this all together. A special thing that we learned about Mark previously on his How China Works is that he is not only a green card holder here, but he's also a recipient of the Friendship Award, which is the highest civilian award given to a foreigner from China. Well, having lived here for the vast majority of her 104 years, you heard that right, it's kind of hard to think of Isabel as a foreigner in any way. I think she's lived here basically 100 years. She's not even foreign born. She was born in Chengdu, but she was technically a Canadian citizen at birth. Her parents were Canadians who came here as early educators. And so that qualifies her for this next bit of news. I was just informed the other day that Isabel has also been given this award. I guess it's still the Friendship Award. I don't have the specifics of the title. I think it maybe even has a slightly different name. But she was given this award by none other than President Xi Jinping himself just, I think, a week ago or so, week and a half ago, since we did the episode, in recognition of her very significant contributions to Chinese society and also to helping aid mutual understanding between East and West. It's very cool indeed, and it was extremely cool to get to meet her. It was touch and go whether she was going to be able to make it. There's no elevator, and there are a lot of stairs. There are actually 2 whole flights of stairs going up into the Bookworm. And again, Isabel, she's very fit for 104 years old, but I mean, it makes me tired to walk up those stairs. But she was able to make it and join us, and it was an amazing night. So it made our show with Fu Han and Mark even more special. And of course, it's timely. As I mentioned, Isabel just received this award. And what's even cooler is that I was able to stitch together a video version of that whole night for you to check out. We had several cameras. There were actually a bunch of cameras. One of the CCTV channels was covering it for a bigger documentary on Fu Han and her amazing life. We had a friend shooting some pieces, and so sometimes the video is a little rough, but it's the complete night is all there for you. And the video version of that, it's up as an audio podcast as well on How China Works, but the video version also includes the complete documentary that Fu Han did on Isabel. It's a short one, but it's 24 minutes long. It's called Isabel Crook, Childhood Memories from Bailu Ding, which is this special place where she went as a child, as you could infer. So you can watch the whole thing on How China Works. So that, as I said, that's actually included in the video version as well. Fu Han gave me the master so that I could drop that in there. And you also get to see and hear Isabel speak before and after we ran the film that night. You get to see the love that she got, and it was just really great. So super happy to have people check that out. The last thing I'll note, and this relates to that clip I played just up top here, is that Ying and I did our second How China Works just the other day. I'm recording this on Saturday afternoon. The new episodes of How China Works typically come out on a Friday. On Tuesday, we recorded it. We were with Jesse APPELL at the U.S.-China Comedy Center, which is actually his business, which is in the Hutongs, just north of Nanluogushang. We also recorded that one, and we don't have complete video. There are some shorter pieces. We have some clips that we'll release here in time. But we have a really fun audio episode up right now as this week's How China Works podcast that you can check out. Now, Jesse played a few videos for the audience there in the room. I listened back to it, and I decided that it didn't work just as audio only, and also I want you to really watch the things to get the full experience of this. So to help everything flow, I kind of fade it down and I fade it back up where the videos are played. But links to watch those are in the show notes. And so that's all ready for you to check it out as you like. So as I mentioned at the top, I'm including links to everything I'm kind of talking about in these show notes here, whether you want to watch or listen or just check out the blog posts that go with all these things. So I really hope you'll give it a look. I'll be back next week on If I Knew You Better with another very special guest. Plus, I'll drop reminders on Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom from time to time, kind of like this one, if there's something somewhere else that I really don't want you to miss. But please subscribe to How China Works, If I Knew You Better, or both, to make sure that you don't miss anything, if you don't mind hearing my voice from time to time and you like the cool people that I get to talk to. Thanks again for listening. I'm Brendan Davis, and I'll see you next time.